All right, welcome back to the Starfighter podcast. It is Wednesday, halfway through the week. We're looking good. We're here to talk about all things nerdy, and to help me steer the ship today, my big bro Adrian. How you doing, man?
What is up? Loving the shirt, bro.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, for our viewers, listeners who aren't familiar with our Wednesday show, again, we talk all things nerdy, and we go over current news when it comes to entertainment, but we can definitely break off into different areas. Pretty much whatever our audience wants to talk about, we will discuss as well. So it's a pretty much an open talk here. But continue to give us your support on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts can be heard, and especially here on the channel. Drop us a sub, leave us a like, and especially join the conversation because we love to hear from you guys. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun.
For sure. Hey, how's my audio on your end, by the way?
It sounds pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so we got some things to discuss for sure. Um, First off, we might want to just mention that it is Superhero Day today.
That's
So
right. I did see that
we can
on the
definitely play
social
off of that.
meds.
Yeah, we can definitely play off of that. Um, Not to put you on the spot, but I did want to kind of maybe dive into a little bit about how you got introduced to superheroes and ask you a little bit about that.
It's
So,
okay.
yeah.
As long as mom's not listening, I can talk about it. Uh, no, but I think, okay, was that go? Was that all of the question?
Well, yeah, how you got introduced. I mean, I think you and I are actually pretty similar, but we'll find out. And then also, we can talk about our favorite superheroes, favorite comics. We'll get into those things. And of course, viewers, listeners, you can definitely chime in as well.
Yeah. So my, I guess getting into comics or comic book stories was really more like you know TV, cartoons, animated stuff, specifically the Batman animated series. So when I would have been like, I don't know, 10 or 11, I would come on and I would come home from school and I would scramble to do my homework, and then we had got like a little TV that was one in one of the back rooms, not in our living room. Um, and I would go in and I would turn the volume really way down, and I would secretly watch the Batman animated series in there by myself because mom wasn't too keen on the violence of that show. Um, and I I think that's why to this day Batman is um, probably my favorite superhero. Um, Somehow, actually, in like middle school, like sixth through eighth grade, I got all my friends at school to call me Batman. I don't know how, and then I started signing yearbooks with the Batman logo. Um,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, um, other than that, I haven't really. I read a couple comics in my adult years, but not really exposed to comic books as a kid. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I did want to mention real quick, we're getting a little bit of buzzing from your mic. Um, but yeah, totally appreciate
let me switch to
our
this and see
opening
if
right
it's
here.
any. Yeah, let me switch to this and
Yeah,
see if
sure.
it's any better. But
Yeah, I'll give a
yeah, go
little
ahead.
bit of background for me too. Also, a little bit similar because Batman is also my favorite superhero. Um, and I feel like I was kind of at like, I kind of came into everything at a pretty good age because like I feel like I just kind of made the cut to be able to, um, get introduced to the animated series for both Batman and Superman. Um, but I also, tell this story every once in a while too. Um, oh, the more feedback actually, quite a bit.
Worse? Oh gosh. Ah.
Yeah, no worries. Let's hang on. I'm gonna break off. Jake Hedge, what's up, bro? Yeah, hope you're doing good too, Jake. He says, "What's up, guys? Hope you're doing good this evening." And then he says, "Do you guys consider Ninja Turtles superheroes, heroes, vigilantes, or just mutated animals with crazy abilities and strength?" That's a good one. I would put them in. You can't hear me. A little bit of technical difficulties here. Um, anyways, yeah, I would definitely consider Ninja Turtles, um, kind of in that same category with superheroes too. And I mean, if we're just being honest, that's another thing that our moms didn't really care for. That our mom didn't really care for. Um, but yeah, I think we both definitely enjoyed Ninja Turtles and still do. It's a little bit iffy on some of the films, but are you good, bro?
How's this? How's this sound? Testing one, two, three. This is gonna get better. The next time I do this, I promise it's gonna be amazing.
No worries, no worries. Did you
Is
want to
it
say
back to at
anything
least
of?
as good as it was before?
Yeah,
Okay. I did want to chime in on this question. Is it just kind of choppy? Like it's
a little bit. What about the ones that I got you? There's a mic connected on one of those cords too.
well, the problem is I have to use an adapter to use it with my
Oh, I see.
iPad. So that's it's a whole thing. And I'm pretty
I
sure
see.
the adapter is what was causing the feedback before. So,
Okay.
but I did want to say about Ninja Turtles, a quick funny story. So I really liked the Ninja Turtles, and I remember in third grade, I had been watching them a little bit here and there, and I really loved them. And in third grade, I don't have very many memories as a kid, so this is one of the few. But one of our teachers, I remember she was like the teacher's assistant, and she was like super cute and like super nice. And she was going around to all the kids, passing out little TMNT, like it was like a printable comic, that she just printed out a bunch of copies herself, and then she like folded them and stapled them all cute for all of us.
One of those little books, like a really small little comic book.
Yeah, like you could tell she printed it on regular 8.5 by 11 and then folded and stapled.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
but it was supposed to be like a comic book. And I was so excited. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want it so bad. But like my mom,
Oh no, you cut out. I can't hear you. Can't hear you at all. Well, while he works all of that out, um, we will keep going unless you're good. Okay.
Let's try this.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. Kind of just getting into the swing of things here.
okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, just lost them. Um, anyway, so honestly, now I'm having trouble remembering whether I took it home or whether I had to tell the teacher. But somehow the teacher, like, I had to tell her like I couldn't have the comic book, and I like started crying in front of her, and she was like hugging me and stuff, and I was
Oh
so
my gosh.
bummed that I couldn't have this little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book. Um, they they ran a tight ship, mom and dad.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, but yeah, I really liked it. Oh, and then that's also how I found out that I probably shouldn't be watching Ninja Turtles, at least not. Yeah. Anyway, as a kid.
um
But yeah, that was kind of a random story. But yeah, I liked the
no, that
Ninja
was
Turtles
good.
growing
That was
up.
good.
I haven't really got into them into the movies.
Yeah, I will backtrack just a little bit, going back to kind of how I got introduced to things. And I talk about this every once in a while, but actually, you introduced me to X-Men, the animated series, and that's how my love for comic books and comic book movies all began. And then, as well as Batman and Superman. But earliest memories was with X-Men, and still a super huge fan of that. Can't wait to see what Disney does going forward. Yeah, so really excited for that. Also, Batman Beyond was really big too. I remember both of us watching that quite a bit. Um, yeah, and like you, Batman became my favorite, but um, also Spider Man, the Spider Man animated series. Um, I was telling I was telling someone the other day. Oh, I think I was telling Ethan about it when we were on a show. But our dad had bought us. Well, he bought me. I'm sorry. He bought me the VHS of it was the animated series, but it was a special, and it was Spider-Man versus Daredevil, and it was the first time I ever like found out anything about Daredevil. But I remember playing that. It was like a two episode um, like yeah, 2 episode special. I remember playing that VHS constantly. Like I loved those 2 episodes so much, and just thought Daredevil was such a cool character. And then they teamed up, and that was really cool about those shows too. Is that the X Men would cross over onto the Spider Man, and Spider Man would cross over onto the X Men animated series. So that was a lot of fun.
Um, hey, I'm wondering if I had an idea for how to connect, possibly a better connection. Do you want me to try that, or is this? Do you think we should just try to work with the audio that I have?
You could try it.
I'll have to leave and come back. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's cool.
You could hit the next question or something, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Well, thanks for sticking around, Jake. We appreciate that. Yeah, so let's get your next question, man. He says, have you guys ever played the 2003 PS2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game? Man, I'm trying to think. 2003. You know what? Let me know, like, Jake, because was that kind of around the time that they made one animated TMNT movie that I thought was pretty good. I don't know if it still holds up actually, but I thought it was pretty decent. It's the one where Raphael he kind of goes rogue. It kind of reminded me of Under the Red Hood. Um, one second, let me figure this out. We're just getting him back into the room, and let me know if that's the one. Yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, so I remember a game that I thought was like maybe from that and made it like, kind of continued that story or was basically just a rendition of that particular movie. So if it's that, then yes, I played that game, but not quite sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm a huge like Leonardo fan. I think that he's the coolest. Also, um, being younger too, for some reason I always gravitated towards whoever was the leader of like the group or the team. So like loved Leonardo, and then also Cyclops and X-Men. Like that's kind of how I was. You're back.
Well, I'm back, but I don't think it worked. It'll be better next time.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually bought a computer. I have a computer coming. So,
Oh, cool. Very nice, very
um,
nice. Have you played this TMNT game?
mm-mm. No, but I actually had a random question for you, if you don't mind, or did you want to talk about this more?
No, I kind of covered it.
A random question for you. Are there any standout, like either episodes or maybe supervillains in episodes of Let's Go Batman Beyond?
Yes, and I actually just recently watched them. It is,
Oh, did you?
and if and forever everyone who's listening or watching, um, for one, if you haven't ever seen Batman Beyond, you need to check it out. It's amazing. And two, you need to check out the two episodes. It's again another two-parter where Terry joins the Justice League. Those episodes are awesome, and
Oh,
there's
no
like
way. I
a
never saw that one.
there's a traitor like in the Justice League, and so Terry is helping Superman figure out who the traitor is, and we'll just leave it
Whoa.
at that. But it is
Okay.
very cool.
Interesting.
What about you?
Um, so yeah, I'm realizing I never saw that. I never saw the specials. I also didn't see the one. I don't, or maybe I did, and I can't remember. But I know there's like a special, like the Return of the Joker or something.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but as far as like the actual episodes, um, in some ways they were kind of cheesy, but I liked the family of um the villains that were based off of the playing cards, and they would fly
Oh
around on the
yeah.
cards. And then
Those guys were cool. Yeah.
yeah, like
Oh, they
there
were
was like a
called.
big,
I think they were called the Royal Flush Gang.
oh maybe, yeah. That sounds like right.
I'm pretty sure.
There was like there's like a big guy that was all white and he didn't talk.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course like the girl that starts trying to kind of talk with Terry, get in good with Terry. But I'm having trouble remembering his name. But then the other standout episode or villain for me was
Ethan
the
confirmed that
one
it was the Royal Flush Gang.
oh nice, the guy that had the like the sound waves ability, and he had
Oh
like the spirals on his face, like on his whole suit. It was just
yeah.
like spirals. But I just loved that power, and they did a great job of like um, the big boy was Ace. He says um, they they did a really good job of utilizing sound. Oh, shriek or yeah, something like that. Shriek or anyway, they did a really good job in that episode of utilizing sound, and then like the absence of sound. They did an awesome job. But those are some of my standouts in Batman Beyond. I really wish they would do more with that property. I feel like it'd be such an awesome movie if they did it right.
Yeah, me too. For sure. Um, I was thinking the other standout villain to me was I can't remember his name. Maybe someone knows in the chat, but um, he I think like his skin. He also like scared me a little bit being younger, but like his skin like peeled off from like radiation, and then his
Oh
face like
yeah,
was like a green glowing skeleton.
I think his name was Blythe or Blight or something like that.
Oh yeah,
I think I could be way off on that, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was like one of the early episodes.
yeah. And then they had like really cool, just like cool like concepts that kind of like came from like the animated series, like with Bane, they had this idea of like introducing this patch that people would like put on to make them like really strong, but then like it would kind of just like mess with their minds a little bit too.
And then also over time they warped it into like different things where you could like get like animal traits. You remember that? And like so they would put
Oh
some on, and
yeah.
like one guy became kind of like a bull, like he got like horns and stuff like that. His face changed a little bit. Um, and then I think there was like one that was like a snake or like a lizard, but like they kind of evolved that sort of um, I don't know, that gimmick or that type of power.
Yeah. So did you watch like all the way through? Did you, and we'll move on to something else in a minute, but did you watch the ending of the series?
Of Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Um, I know I did, but I honestly can't remember it that
Cuz
well.
cuz I don't want to spoil it, but they they reveal like more of Terry's background, so you know where I'm going with that.
Hmm, probably
Okay. Well, I don't want to spoil it cuz it's really
a
good.
little bit.
It's really good. So, but
Is it
anyways, oh, I actually
okay now?
want, what's that?
Does my mind now or
Dang, bro, I'm sorry. It's actually cutting out a little bit. But thank you for the chat for staying with us. I uh I have an understanding.
okay? How's
We had
this? Can
some.
you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay. I tried to adjust the volume, but it's not. That's what it did.
gotcha. I did have a couple of comics I thought I would just bust out real quick.
Nice.
So probably one of my favorite ones is this Ultimate Spider-Man comic, Volume 6, and also an amazing video game, one of my favorite video games, the Ultimate Spider-Man game. And that game is essentially based on this particular volume, but like the very beginning, which I think Ultimate Spider-Man is the coolest version of Spider-Man. I wish that we would see like a version of that live action. Um, but what was really cool about the story in the beginning is getting introduced to Venom, and then also um, what's cool in the game is that you can switch between Spider-Man and Venom and kind of like do their separate stories. And so like one
Hmm.
of the very first levels you play as Venom, and you run into like Wolverine like outside of a bar and the two of them end up fighting. It's kind of
Hmm.
crazy, but
Nice.
yeah, great story, Ultimate Spider-Man. I also have this Ultimate X-Men, which I also like. Pretty much anything Ultimate was really good. And this one had Wolverine, Daredevil, and Spider-Man.
Hmm.
So that was awesome. Um, two more. I've got this Force Unleashed comic book, which
Hmm.
is not canon, but always really loved the story.
It's not
And
canon.
then
Throw it away.
and then we of course huge fans of Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh
So
yeah.
not a superhero, but anyways.
Yeah, I wasn't counting those. I think I have at least five of the Calvin and Hobbes. Um, I gave them to my son when he was probably right on the verge of too young. I gave him to Landon, and he would like quote them at the very um unopportune times. Sound like a weird little kid. But he was obsessed with them. He pulls them out every once in a while.
Yeah, I remember one time I got grounded for like a few weeks, and oh, what helped me the most get through it was Calvin and Hobbes. Like that was my entertainment in my free time.
Nice.
Let's see. I want to get this message. Jake says the 2003 game was based on the TV series and it had a comic book look in the graphics and it was cool to look at and play. Very cool. Yeah, not quite sure if I played that one or not, but definitely really cool. Also, Nick says, hey.
What up, Nick?
Appreciate you tuning in. I know. Calvin and Hobbes is the bomb, Jake.
There's a
Weren't they
great
supposed to make a
documentary, by
show?
the way. Well, no, that's kind of what I was gonna touch on. There's a great documentary about what happened to, forgetting his name now.
What's up,
The
sidekicks?
guy. Yo, it's the Sidekicks. They made it. There's a great documentary about what happened to the guy that created Calvin and Hobbes and drew it and wrote it. And I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now, but it's actually a crazy story. And one of the things that they touch on is how
Bill
when
Watterson.
Bill Watterson, when he walked away from it, he did like legal things to make sure no one could ever do anything to the property, including what do you call it, merchandise. Like if you find
Okay.
a plushie of Calvin or Hobbes or anything, it's illegal. Like it is not. They're not authorized, and that's why you don't really find them. So it's kind of interesting.
That's crazy. So yeah, I think we can move on just a little bit. We talked favorite comics. We didn't really. Did we talk favorite heroes?
I mean, yeah, we did.
Kind of.
Batman, move on.
Batman all the way around.
Growing up, I really did like Gambit. I
Oh yeah.
I like Wolverine, but I feel like everybody liked Wolverine. But I liked Gambit from the the X-Men series, and I really liked Cable too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I was telling Jake right now, like being younger, for some reason I always gravitated towards the leaders. So like with TMNT, like Leonardo was my favorite, and then in the beginning, when I first got introduced to X-Men, Cyclops was my favorite, even though I feel like hardly anybody likes him. Or actually, I feel like that was the case for a long time. However, the new I've heard a lot of really good things about the new House of X comic line, which dives into Cyclops a lot, and I hear like his story is like really good in that series. So I feel like he's getting some more attention, and I would really like to see him, going forward into like the new Marvel rendition. I'd really like to see Cyclops portrayed as the leader, because I feel like we didn't really get that much from the Fox X-Men. I want to see Cyclops more in that leadership role and really taking charge and just being an awesome character that we see in the animated series. But yeah, guys, I think we can move on a little bit. We do have some other really cool news that we want to talk to you about. Actually, we're going to throw this up. Spoiler warning. We're going to talk a little bit about Falcon and Winter Soldier, the finale. Of course, you can check out our review here on the channel, and you guys can chime in the comments as well. Tell us your thoughts. Hedge and sidekicks, let us know. Whoever else is with us, let us know. But yeah, I haven't talked to Adrian about it yet, so I'm curious to hear his thoughts on this. But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did you watch it, bro? Oh, I think he's in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
he's back. He's back.
I'm back. I have kids. They don't understand the concept of a live stream. Well, that one doesn't. But I really liked it. I didn't love it.
Can we get something real quick?
I didn't love it. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We will get back into that. Jake says, before we move on, he says, who would you want to play Cyclops? This is a good question. Because he can be a really cool character. I think he can be done really well and I feel like he has a like a fairly interesting background. Honestly, his story, like how he gets his powers and everything, kind of like a tragic event, and reminds me a lot of Daredevil, actually. Um, but yeah, I who would I like to see as Cyclops? It's tough. And initially, I wanted to say Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but I think he might be. I don't know. Is he a little too old? It's hard to say because we don't know exactly what the timeline is going to be and how old they're going to be. But I mean, I think he's an incredible actor, and I just want to see him more in like superhero roles.
I don't
That's the
know.
first name that came to mind.
I want Joseph Gordon-Levitt for something better. I don't know.
Well, first I think we wanted him as like the new Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy, but yeah, do you have anyone who you might cast?
I don't know. I'm kind of bad at that most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll have like a fan cast kind of thing, but few and far between. I'm kind of bad at that in general. That's why I make jokes like Shia LaBeouf. You know what? Shia LaBeouf should play Cyclops.
No. Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. Okay. Let's get back to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Touch on this just for a couple minutes. Yeah, so you said you thought it was just okay, didn't love it. You want to
thought it was
expand on that
good,
a little bit?
not great.
Yeah.
Just a couple random things like now I'm forgetting everything.
Well, why don't I tell you? I could tell you what I didn't care for.
There's just some cheesy parts. There's like some cheesy parts. Oh, and then like, okay, the new Captain America, the new Captain America, his suit looked so lame. His helmet, his goggles looked lame. His goggles looked lame. And in my opinion, and
I like the suit.
specifically when they look the most lame, I like his suit. I love the whole thing. I love how they utilized the wings on that one part to do like a whole shield shell thing. Like that was awesome. I felt like they took advantage of the design of the suit and they were thoughtful about that. But like when he's monologuing at the end, he's like making all these great points, but then his goggles look ridiculous. I'm like, take off those goggles so we can actually respect the words that you're saying. Like, it would be like me trying to do some serious podcast with like the Zoom mustache filter or something. Like, it just you lose credibility when you look like goofy. And in my opinion, he looked goofy.
Yeah, I did. I felt like the goggles did stand out here and there. Maybe not as much as you picked up on for that speech, but yeah, I can see what you mean for sure. I think it would have been better if he had like if it was just like a situational thing. You're like in flight, but then you land and you can take them off. Like, but he seems to keep them on all the time.
Yeah, and I told the kids, I said, helmet or no helmet, pick one. You can't do this in between. That's what it seemed like.
Right. one of my issues, well, I felt like it was great having Austin on, by the way. You haven't met him yet, but Jake's brother, he's really awesome, and he has a lot of really good points. Pretty much everything that I didn't really care for, Austin was able to shed some light on and give a good perspective about. But like, for example, one, it felt underwhelming every once in a while, especially underwhelming for what I initially saw as the climax of the story of the finale as this battle between Sam and Carly, and then and then it's like Sharon shoots Carly, Sam kind of like holds her in his arms for a minute, and I'm just like, that's it, like. And like I literally like look at the time on the show. I'm like, how much time do we got left? And still like 15 minutes or something. But I'm like, I don't know. Like it just left me kind of feeling empty. Like, but to to credit Austin again, he made the point that the climax is actually Sam's speech, and I think he's right about that too. Which is
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily um what like many of us would want. I think a lot of us like when it comes to these action films, we want like a really cool action suspenseful battle for the climax of the story. But it is really interesting that um I do believe that, and interesting that they chose to make this speech as the climax and to resolve the issues for the series. I thought that was definitely interesting and pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
maybe less about resolving the issues and more about Sam being embodying what it means to be Captain America. Because if there was, because it was the most Captain American-y, that he had ever been in that moment, and you saw that, kind of, um, but you saw that a couple times, and then that was the climax. I just I have a hunch that that speech is only going to go so far. That those politicians and everything, they're not going to change based off of one guy's speech. But I do
yeah,
remember one thing that I really wanted to say about this episode.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and
Go for it.
this might be a hot take. I don't know. How did you feel about John Walker? I mean, sort of getting redeemed.
Um, I actually think that I don't think that he was completely redeemed. I think he had like a moment of redemption, but I don't think he's like fully seen the light. And
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like that particular scene, when he chooses to like set aside his anger and revenge and like be what those people need in the armored van, kind of go to their aid. I feel like that kind of it could definitely like foreshadow later on once they like really conclude his character, his story, because I feel like he's going to be with us for a while. But I think that at the very end, maybe um, he'll like finally get like 100% redemption. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I still see him
Yeah.
going down a darker path. Um, but it's really hard to say because again, we go over this in our breakdown too. Um, but what's her name? Julia. She plays the Contessa, but in the comics she's Madam Hydra, and it's hard to say because
Mm-hmm.
in the comics she is Nick Fury's girlfriend and is um a lot of times she's good, but I guess there were a couple times where she was bad. So it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to say where she's going to take things with Walker. Like, is Hydra back? Um, I think it would be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. I find the Hydra stuff really interesting, personally. Some people kind of think, we can be done with that, but I'm all for it. But what I guess we really just
Mm,
don't know. Like, it could be, 50-50. It could be like another like special division that's not necessarily bad either. So
yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just gonna say when it happened, in that moment, I'm like, I started kind of cheering, and I turned to the kids, and I'm like, I am so a team redeem John Walker. Like I feel like he's one. I think he's a great actor to pull off the vibe that he did, and two, I think the character is pretty is complex enough that he's interesting to watch at least. You know.
yeah, definitely. Um, and like, because no one really liked John Walker, honestly, but I mean, you weren't really supposed to, and I think we got to give Wyatt Russell a lot of credit because he did a really good job. In particular, what stood out to me is was his speech. I think in episode 5, when he's addressing the senators, and again, you don't really um, you're not really taking his side, but you kind of see a little bit where he's coming from, and a little bit more of where some of this entitlement comes from because
Well,
of his
yeah,
reputation.
yeah, and well, you do see even like in general, I think most people don't agree with what he's doing and how he's going about it. You kind of in that speech, you sort of see that he's been victimized too. And so like there's it's one of those moments where it's like you're kind of forced to empathize with him at least a little bit. Um, I'm of the opinion that you can empathize with people without agreeing with them, and I think that that's what happened in that moment. It doesn't make what he's doing okay, but you sort of see their side.
Yeah, good point. And then Sam kind of does the same thing for Carly too, which personally Carly was way more irritating to me for some reason. Um, I don't know. Both Carly and Walker kind of had an attitude problem throughout the show. Um, but and then yeah, like another thing that irritated me too. Overall, I really liked the episode and the series. But another thing that kind of frustrated me in the finale was, Carly takes down Walker for like, I don't know, the third time or something. But now Walker has the serum, and it's like, guys, like, I think it's safe to assume that Walker's been doing the combat thing a whole lot longer than Carly has. He's a military man for years. He has training and he has the serum. Like, how is he not winning right now? Like, how is he getting taken down so easily by this young girl? But again,
Yeah,
Austin made the point that this isn't like a focused, refined John Walker. He's very much like off the rails and losing control. Um, yeah, and just like not at his best, right? So that was a good point. I guess I can see that, but I don't know. Ultimately, the main thing was just that even though that wasn't, the climax, it was the speech. Yeah, we can't forget about the cookout at the end. It was good. Um, it's like even though that wasn't the climax, it was the speech. They had Carly be the overall. She became the protagonist, or I'm sorry, the antagonist, for the finale. And it's just like I just don't get how all these grown adults like are going after this younger girl for the finale. Like, I don't know.
mm, yeah, I could see that.
It just And it's not because she's a girl either. It's because it's like she's not really a full-fledged bad guy. It was just like some really different choices, you know what I mean? Because she wasn't a full-fledged villain. It's actually probably Sharon, right? But it's just, just some weird
Well,
choices,
also
you know what I'm saying?
too, yeah, but also too, those like that dynamic right there is like one of the main things that make me think. Well, I guess I haven't heard if it's official, but it makes me think there's going to be a season two.
They haven't said yet, but it was I believe it just came out that they are going to do a new Captain America movie with Sam.
Oh, really? But
Yeah.
that's not official. That's just
I
rumor, or
No, I believe it is official.
oh,
Um
I hadn't heard that.
but then yeah, real quick, like, again, to what I was saying, like, it was just that whole thing where it's like I said, these adults going after this younger girl, and it's the finale, and then that whole thing where Carly is like pounding on Sam and like, fight me, and Sam's like, I'm not gonna fight you, and I'm like, this is the finale, like, this is like the big suspenseful battle, like, and then for her to just get shot by Sharon, it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I can see that
It
now that
it
you
just
say it.
felt flat. It fell flat for me.
I see. Yeah, I can see that now that you say it, but yeah, I wasn't thinking any of that in the moment. So I think in that way, I'd probably have to admit that that kind of worked for me the way they did that. It was I do agree though it was a little anticlimactic to just have Sharon shoot her and then um and then now it's just speech time and now it's yeah like these kind of slower moments to close out the thing. And
Yeah,
to that point, I do feel like there was a little bit of it was a little bit rushed as far as far just a little bit. Like I would have liked to see one or two more scenes a little bit rushed for Sam embracing and deciding to become Captain America, and then also I really would have liked to see just a tiny bit more with Bucky going and embracing that mission to kind of make amends with people
that's
because
like
I
my
just felt
favorite
like
part about the series, dude.
I
I think
know
that's
I
my
felt like
favorite thing.
that one
Yeah.
moment was so compelling and all I would have wanted is maybe just like a 30-second montage of him, like sitting with a few different families or leaving their houses or just, like just a tiny bit more would have really drove that home, like the work that it took. Um,
Yeah.
so some of that felt a little rushed to me, but yeah, like I think because yeah, like that's such a great point that Austin brings out that the climax was sort of the that speech and him, having that very Captain America moment. But yeah, compared to the other episodes, it just felt like the trajectory was building, 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 and then the end was just kind of, you know, very subdued. It didn't live up to that momentum.
Yeah. And
And then at the same time, it wasn't bad. It's not like I can look at that episode and say, "Oh man, this is horrible." But
right, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was still pretty good. Um and yeah, I do feel like Bucky did take the back burner a little bit. That they were really setting up Falcon to take over and be, the next Captain America and have this leadership role going forward
well,
with the new Avengers.
and I don't know if um I don't know who or what Bucky turns into in the comics, like if he has another hero name, if it's White Wolf or anything like that. But
It's actually
I
not White Wolf in the comics. White Wolf is someone else, but they're giving it to Bucky now, which
really,
it totally works, with the way they've
well, I
set
was
it up
just,
and how he is in Wakanda.
part of me was kind of hoping that by the end of this season, it wouldn't be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It would be Captain America and someone else. Like it would be both of them. But maybe that's
Yeah,
season two. I don't know.
yeah, maybe so. Um, and then really, really quick, I wanted to go back to the Bucky thing for just a second. I mean, we didn't get a whole lot from that scene when he goes back to visit Yori, but man, I just felt like that packed such an emotional punch when he tells him that it was him, because I didn't know if he was gonna how he was gonna handle it, and he does in fact tell him that it was him that killed his son, and he says why, and he says I didn't have a choice, and man, it was rough stuff, man.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
definitely felt for it, and I think it speaks volumes too for his character, because he knew that they weren't gonna like walk away and still be friends, but the great part about it, and what's really special about it, is that he was willing to sacrifice that friendship, even though it was a friendship made up of guilt. He was willing to sacrifice that in order to give Yori what he wanted, which was closure for what happened with his son. So I just thought
Yeah,
that was really great.
there's a lot of um, psychological aspects to this show that I really, really liked. There's a couple that I didn't like, but that was one of them that I really appreciated because one thing that, sorry for the background noise. One thing that I've felt for a while is like when you're at a point where you move from sort of a really depressed state into healing and recovery and getting out of that, what happens is that people naturally go um, from a position of needing help to then a position of giving. And I felt like that was sort of that kind of just came naturally. And to your point, that's what that very much felt like. It felt like something that he could give with no expectation of anything in return. And yeah, to your point, like I think that's part of why that's really cool is because it didn't end in like a nice little bow where everybody's super happy and their relationship can continue.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this part up, and then we can touch on a little bit of Star Wars stuff if you're still good for time. Um,
Yeah, I probably have about 20 more minutes.
that sounds good. Let's grab a couple of these messages real quick. Jake says, unpopular opinion, I hated Falcon's new suit. It looked like a cheap CW show costume or something, too bright for me. How's he going to sneak up on anyone? Good point. You can't do, I don't know, maybe not as much stealth. Let's see. He also says Walker was my favorite character, possibly for me in the show. Yeah, again, I think they developed his character pretty well. Um, you kind of just go from like really being annoyed with him to um, just understanding where he's coming from a little bit more. I think with a lot of the characters, you just understand their side, their perspective a lot better towards the end of the series.
Hmm.
And then the sidekicks say, do you think Marvel would do Thunderbolts and Dark Avengers? Seeing both teams would be awesome. And so, if you're not too familiar, Adrian, I guess the Thunderbolts are led by, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not 100% on all of this, but um, I believe that, well, I know that the Thunderbolts are led by Thunderbolt Ross, who is like, is it Director Ross, or he's like, um, one of the higher ups with he's the guy that like in Civil War. He's also in the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm talking about, right? Agent Ross. He he's the one that like shows the Avengers like all these things on the
Collateral
screen.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy. He pops up multiple times, but
Mustache. I call him Mustache.
yeah, and I guess he oversees the raft too.
Oh, okay.
Where they took Zemo, and where they take other villains as well. But it's sort of like a Suicide Squad
Dicecast
esque,
Dicecast says Secretary Ross.
maybe
That kid's
secretary.
probably right. I would trust
You
him.
probably
He's a smart
are.
guy.
Thank you. Um, yeah, so so it's kind of like a Suicide Squad esque type of team, and I think
General.
Zemo's in there. Um, oh, I think General. I think it might be General. Frankly, he probably has multiple titles. Anyways, um, so yeah, it's sort of that thing. Dark Avengers, maybe sidekicks can chime in a little bit more about them, but yeah, I mean, would you be curious just in seeing something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest, not having any kind of knowledge about this, the name Thunderbolts sounds kind of dorky to me. But um, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, they don't miss Marvel, so at least they haven't missed in quite a while. So yeah, these movies, the shows, anything they have lined up, it's you know, I'm definitely down for. Sorry, can't really speak too much more to it than that. I
No,
think it's
no
a great
worries.
question though.
Yeah, and we can always bounce back if you guys send in any more messages on that. But we have a little bit of Star Wars news we want to hit. Bad Batch is coming out next week. And
Next week.
I'm pretty pumped for it. We want to talk about this. We're also going to talk a
Next week
little
is
bit
May
of
already.
yeah. We're also going to talk a little bit about May 4th, and some news possibly dropping. But let's start with this. You looking forward to the series? And do you have any expectations going in?
Sorry, I just saw a comment. Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Looking forward to the new series. Um, it's I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like if you would have pitched this to me, I mean, honestly, even like a year ago, before the final season of Clone Wars came out, if I had heard about this, I'd be like, I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. I probably wouldn't have watched. But not only because of Rebels, not only because of Dave Filoni, but really that last season of the Clone Wars where they concluded the whole thing with Ahsoka and gave it its proper conclusion. Um, yeah, I do, and where they introduced the Bad Batch, right? I do
Yeah,
want to see this, and I feel like, again, I feel like at this point we can trust Dave Filoni to come through with some solid story. And honestly, again, knowing him, not just story that's kind of throwaway, but story that even ties into other stuff. I would go as far as to expect some tie into the bigger Star Wars universe, possibly the movies, possibly Mandalorian. I would not be surprised.
yeah, definitely echo that. I mean, I think 100% we can expect some tie-ins to Mandalorian. I think it's already spoken for because Ming Na Wen's character, Fennec Shand, we see her in the trailer, so we're gonna get um,
That's right.
some more from her.
See, I called it.
um, I think we could definitely see a little bit of Vader here and there, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious to see possibly some appearances from Vader as well as whatever scenes the Emperor has, because we see him that like hologram. I think he's given like some kind of speech in the trailer, if I remember correctly. So yeah, interested in that. Um, and let me hit this. The sidekicks are saying that Crosshairs is going to betray the Bad Batch, and
Spoilers. Wow.
Dicecast says Crosshairs is kind of sus. So yeah, looking like that's something that we gotta keep an eye out for. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys in the comments want to let us know anything more, or on the replay, um, any other thoughts that you might have, let us know. But we will
I see a
move
question
on.
in the chat, but not Star Wars related. Darth Maul. We could go there right now.
Are you talking about the
Miss
U.S.
Marvel.
agent one?
Miss Marvel.
Oh, I'm sorry. um, I was gonna maybe get to a couple of those towards the end.
Oh, okay. All good.
We can circle back around. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about May 4th. Some possible news coming up. Do you have any expectations as far as like getting a trailer, getting maybe some more casting news on May 4th? A lot of times they do some stuff for us. Lucasfilm and Disney.
I gotta stop reading the comments. You guys make me laugh too much. I honestly hadn't even
What's
thought
up,
of
Luke?
that. How's it going? I honestly hadn't even thought of that because of, I guess, just because I mean, I guess it is about the series now, the shows, but um, I don't know. Have we got stuff on May 4th in the past? I don't feel like May 4th has ever really been significant as far as news, has it?
I believe so. I can't give any
I
specifics
only
off the
thought
top of
it
my
was
head, but I
significant as
believe we
far as
do.
toys. I know they're all about trying to push merch on May 4th, which I'm like, I mean, that's okay, but I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, we're getting Bad Batch on on May 4th, but yeah, I
Oh
believe that
yeah.
we might get some other stuff as well. You guys are
Oh my
killing
God.
me in the chat.
We just got to do it. You got to throw them out there because I'm dying at this point. You got to.
Luke says Wisa Stan Jar Jar. Oh man.
What about?
Nick says, "Give me some Qui-Gon Jinn. I hope that's how you spell his name." I believe
Yeah.
that is how you spell it. And yeah, I'm all for more Qui-Gon, one of the coolest characters.
Oh, whoops. Dicecast says he's hoping for Jar Jar the movie. It should be called Wisa Going Home, a Jar Jar story.
But yeah, so I think it's possible maybe we'll get possibly a Boba Fett Book of Boba Fett trailer, or maybe something more on the Andor series. I think both of those are definitely potential things to come out, and definitely looking forward to them.
If we throw Jake's prediction up there.
They're going to announce Kathleen Kennedy's departure from Lucas on May 4th, and the galaxy will be that much safer.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
That's a good one.
That was
If
good.
only.
Okay, so our last thing on the agenda. Well, we can also give some recommendations on our way out, or if you have to cut out, then I can give some recommendations on my own. Um, but Matt Lantern returning to voice Anakin Skywalker in some capacity. And I feel like this is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, we know him from Clone Wars as well as I think he voices Anakin in a couple episodes of Rebels. I can recall 2 instances, but yeah, he came out and said that he's returning in some capacity, whether it be another animated series or some kind of video game. Um, but yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
So just the actor himself announced that on his own?
I think he was being interviewed. Yeah,
Huh. Um, Actually, I just remembered some other random Star Wars news. I'm not sure if you've heard, but I mean, I guess yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. It makes me just think of Bad Batch, but yeah, who knows? A video game or
yeah.
something?
Well, if you don't have much to say on it, that's fine. Um, I mean, personally, I think it would be really cool, and I think it kind of like opens up some doors to possibly like seeing him like go off, maybe like some kind of special limited series. I mean, yeah, because like it could just be like something different, something unique that we haven't seen from Anakin. Maybe him and Obi-Wan, or maybe it's just him going off on some kind of side mission that is of some importance. Also,
Hmm.
um, I was thinking about this too, and I can't remember. Uh, I'm rewatching all of Clone Wars right now, so I'll find out quickly. But I don't believe that you see Anakin go through the Jedi trials, in Dave Filoni's Clone Wars.
Hmm.
However, in I feel like I always butcher his name, but in the Tar- Taratovsky, uh, something like that. In the origin,
Tartakovsky. Who
in
knows?
the
We'll never
yeah,
know.
it's tough. It's tough. But in the micro series Clone Wars, that came out before Dave Filoni's, you do in fact see Anakin go through his trials, which is really cool. Or you get a little glimpse at that, and I think that could definitely be something noteworthy to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my thoughts on
Sorry,
that.
these comments are making me laugh. One thing I'll throw out there. Did you hear? I don't know how many people have heard. It's on. It was on one of the podcasts that I follow, which is for. Well, I'll just jump into recommendations here, I guess too. Because yeah, I should start winding down. But I follow MinMax. MinMax is spelled with two N's, MINNMAX, and they're primarily like a gaming podcast. They have a weekly gaming show, but they offer a lot of other cool content, including like a goal, um, uh, like just personal goals monthly video, which I'm really into. It's called Better Quest. Anyway, they did an interview with a who's become a very popular gaming reporter. I'm forgetting his name already. He used to be with Kotaku, but basically he's kind of known for getting scoop behind the scenes because he's been in the industry for a while. And they are officially um, there's a studio officially remaking Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay,
Had you heard that?
I mean, I feel like we've kind of known that.
Well, there was talk. Um, there'd been rumors, I think, for a while, but
Yeah, I
um,
I definitely heard that they were making one,
mm.
but we don't
Anyway,
we don't really
that's one of
know
my
how.
favorite games, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, we don't really know how it's if it's going to like really tie into the previous ones, or if it's going to be something like completely new and like not, they don't even touch on the original storyline. So that'll be
Yeah.
interesting for sure.
Or if it's canon, if they'll try to make something canon, which would be,
Yeah,
honestly, that would be probably the coolest thing that they could do, is remake it, revise a few things, and then build out the story to actually connect to canon. I mean, that would be insane.
definitely. And I believe that they're going to either bring in either Darth Bane or Darth Revan into the Acolyte in one way or another.
Mm,
Um, and so that's going to be interesting too. We haven't, we don't have anything so far as that we know of with Revan being canon just yet. Um, Anything to really go off of except for the legend stuff. But we do have a little bit of Darth Bane in season 6 of Clone Wars, voiced by Mark Hamill, and he appears to Yoda in a vision, which was really
mm.
cool. It was a really cool scene. But yeah, I in particular I want more Darth Bane. Did you have any
Cool.
more? I know you gotta cut out here soon, and then I might keep going for just a few more minutes after you head out. But was there anything else that you wanted to touch on? Any more recommendations or shout outs?
Not really.
Okay.
Shout out to all our supporters here
Yeah,
joining the
absolutely.
stream, the Sidekicks podcast, and the Dice Cast.
Yep. Go check those guys out. Both our good
And
friends
you could,
Nathan
if you
and
really
Marcellus.
want to, if you want to get nerdy into mental health, you could check out my podcast. I have a new
Yes.
episode coming out in the next week about self esteem, self worth, what that actually is, how you can actually improve that, or, you know, yeah, how do you go about doing that? So, they're
Yeah, I've
more
been
like,
listening to
honestly,
some
I
of it.
probably shouldn't have called it a podcast because honestly, they're more like, it's more like an essay, like an audio essay. I know there's video essays. I don't know if audio essays are a thing, but it's just me. It's just one guy being really super nerdy, getting really deep on these topics. But I plan to do 6 of them, and so I have one already, and then yeah, the next one is on self-esteem, self-worth. Um, so yeah, if you want to check that out, it's called Day One Learning on everywhere you have podcasts. Day One Learning.
Yeah, it's really good. I've listened to the first one so far, and yeah, I mean for anyone who's listening or watching, definitely some helpful things in there, and you do a really good job of explaining, how certain things relate to us, just like very logically too, and just like really understanding. Um, I feel like anxiety you touch on quite a bit, and um, and our perspective, how we take in information, and then what we do with that going forward in our day to day life. I think that's really interesting, and especially now with the pandemic and everything still going on, definitely very relatable for all of us.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, other than that, it was cool hanging out. Hope to hang out more. And yeah, it would be interesting. I guess maybe the next time we hang out like this, maybe we'll be very close to Bad Batch episode 1. I think they're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm sure we'll
do
have you on
episode
too.
1. Let me look at the calendar because I remember reading. You said episode 1 comes out May 4th?
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure. Have you looked at this? I'm pretty sure episode 2 comes out May 7th. They're gonna come out on Fridays. I don't know if you saw that, but if I'm not crazy, we're basically getting kind of like a bonus episode,
Oh, okay.
and then they're gonna come out on Fridays, 7th, 14th. Yes, that's what's gonna happen. Now that I even say
They've
it out
done
loud.
that before too with something else. I can't remember what it was.
They
It
did
might
it
have.
with the first season of Mandalorian.
Oh
We
yeah,
sort of got
yeah.
a bonus because the one movie
Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker was
Skywalker
coming out.
was coming out, so we sort of got a bonus Mandalorian episode. But yeah, that's what they're doing here. So May, even though there's 4 Fridays, we're gonna get 5 episodes with that May 4th
Gotcha.
episode.
All right, bro.
So yeah, very
Yeah,
cool. Looking forward
we'll
to
have you
talking with
on
you about
more
it.
with Bad Batch. But yeah, if you're heading out, that's cool.
Nice. Alrighty. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll catch you later, Adrian.
Take
We'll
care.
see you
See ya.
soon.
Oop, I
So
almost ended it for all of y'all.
I'm
I'll
gonna
see you
stay
later.
on. I'll see you, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay on for a few more minutes. I actually have a announcement to make for all of you guys, listening and our viewers here. And I do want to get to some of your messages as well. Um, Jake, I'm not leaving yet. You should stick around. um, but yeah. So, but before I get to that, recommendations, guys. One of our um, segments that we really like to do here on the channel, especially Wednesdays in particular. If there's any movies, shows, games that you guys are into right now, let us know because we want to hear about that. Leave a comment, tell us about them. Yeah, I will get to that announcement in just a second. But yeah, let us know any recommendations. I have one in particular, and I'm hoping it was actually recommended by Jake Hedge. So, um, or I think that it was. We'll find out. But yeah, let's get to the announcement. Um, so as you noticed, Jake Koskela is not here tonight, joining us. He has officially resigned as co-host on the Starfighter podcast. Um, he's got a lot going on with his schedule, which I can totally understand. Frankly, I've almost resigned as co-host and at one time because you know being a musician and doing a lot of recording and stuff, working on some new albums for this year, and that's my main pursuit, as well as this is kind of like in close second, the podcast that is. So totally understand and support Jake 100%, especially because he is an incredible Super Smash Bros. Semi-professional player, and I play a whole lot as well. And he's given me like really good tips and taught me some great things as well. So we're sad to see him go, but he's not gonna be completely gone. He's still gonna pop up here from time to time and do movie and show reviews with us here and there. He's just not going to be on as regular, so he's not completely gone from the channel and from the crew. But guys, hit the number one in the chat. Let's let Jake know that we're going to miss him as co-host because Jake is an awesome guy and very well spoken, very knowledgeable about a lot of these subjects like Star Wars and Marvel. And so personally, I'm going to miss co-hosting with him. It's been a great 5 months so far into this. Him and I started the channel, and then like our first episode, um, I had him on as my first guest, and I thought the dynamics were really good, and I heard good things, from our initial audience. So yeah, I brought him on board, for a while, and but yeah, you know, life happens. You get busy with other stuff too. So again, totally understand, but he will still be around from time to time, and we will miss him as the co-host. But um, some other news: We do have some changes coming here on the channel. I am going to be bringing on some new regular people here to help me steer the ship, as well as some new shows that we want to start doing, some new reviews as well. And I want to let you guys know, viewers, listeners, you can chime in as well. If there's some things that you are interested in seeing or ideas that you might have for us, we're very interested in hearing them. So please let us know. And I've gotten a couple messages like, how can we support the channel? Like by funds right now. And right now, funds is not, what matters to us. Again, numbers don't matter until they start to, right? And, we're just trying to grow little by little. And of course, the most important thing is to have fun and have fun conversations with our audience that is growing little by little, slowly but surely, both here and on stereo, which has been an awesome tool, and getting people to come on from there as well, like our friend Jake Hedge. But yeah, guys, so I was just gonna say, when it comes to showing your support, the best thing that you guys can do right now is let other people know about the Starfighter podcast, whether it be like on and sorry, like, I think my stomach is growling a little bit because I'm getting hungry. But anyways, going forward, if you guys can let other people know about the podcast, both on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be, let others know about the show and try and bring them over here so that we can, build a bigger community here on the channel, especially, and just have like these awesome conversations. And again, I have other stuff that we want to do soon as well, like some watch alongs and other fun stuff like games and trivia, um, and as well as like live streaming games as well. So you can look forward to a bunch more awesome things headed your way here on the channel, and we'll have official announcements more for some of those things very soon, maybe even this Friday. Because it's kind of like a day off, or well, not a day off, but it's kind of like a week off from our regular Marvel or Star Wars reviews, because we've got this break in between Falcon and Loki. So yeah, so we're gonna do something on Friday. It could very well just be something similar to this, where we kind of talk everything nerdy, whatever you guys want to talk about. But again, let me know here in the comments if there's anything that you want to see going forward, like regularly, or if there's something in particular you want to see this Friday. Let me know. I will definitely take it into consideration. Would love to hear from you guys. But that's the announcement, and appreciate you listening to that. Still want to give a couple more recommendations before I head out and before we close the stream. So yeah, recommendations. Again, you guys can send in yours as well. Some of the comments. Yeah, appreciate the love for Jake. We appreciate that. So recommendations. Jake Hedge was talking to me about on stereo was talking to me about how I should check out some of these Transformer animated series, and I finally got around to it, Jake. I don't know if this is the one that you were recommending in particular, but I started last night. I watched the first two episodes of the Netflix series Transformers, War for Cybertron, Siege, and yeah, I gotta say, it definitely left me, wanting more, wanting to see where the story was headed. I feel like that's like some of the most interesting stuff when it comes to Transformers, the War for Cybertron, and how this group of whatever you want to call it, species, were divided, right? Definitely like really interesting, and I thought that animation was great. It was kind of interesting because like it's rated like, what was it like? I don't know. It almost looked like it was like geared more towards, from the rating. It looked like it was geared more towards like 7-year olds or like that age range, but it definitely didn't feel that way in the show. So I don't know. Sometimes ratings are a little bit skewed. But anyways, that's my recommendation. However, I haven't gone through all of it just yet, so I don't know. Maybe I won't like it later on, but so far I'm into it. Watched the first 2 episodes. War for Cybertron. Um, oh, I guess this is kind of a recommendation, but also a little plug um, that I mentioned last week as well. But I just recently released um, a new song, and it's a special tribute for my brother Elijah, and it's called Soundwave, and it is on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. So yeah, and that's under my artist name Moon Heist. So if you guys could please check that out, if you get a chance, I'd appreciate that, and any feedback you want to give on that would be nice as well. But it is a special tribute for my brother, and yeah, I'm very proud of how it turned out. Again, credit to Nick Nurk has to be given. Um, my best friend Nick, he has been mixing and producing my music, the demos, and it's been turning out really great. And it's been a lot of fun working with him. So yeah, that is Moon Heist. You can check out my stuff, Spotify, and all the other platforms as well. Any other recommendations? Oh yeah, I've been playing Republic Commandos. Got the remastered edition. I've been playing the campaign for that. Uh, I think it holds up. I mean, for the Switch too, and the remastered edition, I think it's pretty decent. I think the graphics are pretty decent too. Obviously, they're dated, but it's not too bad, and the gameplay is fun. Nick says, "Love you, bro. I'm glad I could help with your killer songs. Thanks a lot, bro. Much love." And Jake confirms that was indeed the Transformers he was talking about. So yeah. So Transformers, and then Republic Commandos also. And we're winding down here in just a minute, guys. So again, any recommendations for shows this Friday? Let me know in the chat if you have any. Also, or you know, any show ideas going forward that you might want to see us do here on the channel, as well as recommendations for things that you're watching or playing right now. Would love to check out some more stuff from you guys. I finally got to play Star Wars Squadrons for the first time, hanging out with one of my buddies, and I thought it was great. I mean, the graphics are incredible. The gameplay is really fun too, but there's definitely a learning curve, which I kind of knew going into it. I mean, a lot of people were saying how it was pretty challenging, and so yeah, I definitely felt that, but it was a fun experience so far. I don't own the game yet, and I'm still one of those people waiting for PS5 to come my way, but I don't know. Could be waiting a lot longer. Not sure what to do on that matter. I've A part of me is almost like, okay, I'm just gonna change gears and get like the new Xbox, or I wanted to play Squadrons so bad that I almost got like an Oculus to play Squadrons, but then it's like I don't think I'd be able to play with like a whole lot of friends. I don't think it's cross platform. It's only like people that have the Oculus. So don't want to go down that route either. Guess I just got to be patient. But yeah, so those are all my recommendations pretty much, guys. And it's been a fun show. We, again, apologize for some of the audio quality here and there, but appreciate you guys sticking around. Again, we are going to be back Friday, and you can look forward to some more announcements coming your way as well. Let's see, any more comments? You too, Jake. Again, I know I've been saying this, but for real, and maybe this week or next week, Jake, hit me up on Messenger. Let me know when you want to make a guest appearance here on the show, and we're gonna have you on, man. That'll be fun. You always have great questions as well as perspective on Star Wars and Marvel, all these things. So we would love to have you on, and I look forward to that. So hit me up. Let me know if you're down this week, next week. We will schedule you in officially, and we will get Jake Hedge on the show. Yeah. Family friendly noise, though. It's got to be family friendly. Um, but definitely, man, that'll be fun. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up, guys. We're wrapping things up. Again, thank you for tuning into the show. We really appreciate it. You can continue to follow us here on the channel. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. Guys, hit that like button for me. Appreciate it. If you're not already, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Continue to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate that. And again, above all else, like, tell some people about the Starfighter podcast. Let's again create a community here where we can all have positive conversations and fun conversations, and everyone is welcome to share their thoughts and passion, their love for all things nerdy. That's what we're about. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We will be back in some capacity Friday, and I will not be alone. We will have some fun things planned. And I guess at this point, it's kind of a surprise, but we will be back Friday, stronger than ever. And we hope that you will join us then as well. So I am Dom Torres. We're signing out here at the Starfighter Podcast. And thank you for tuning in.